Good morning. It is Wednesday, February 26th. Here's what we're working on. Hamilton police are searching a landfill, looking for the remains of a missing woman.
Ontario will replace its main method of cervical cancer screening next week.
And Oprah teaming up with other big names for a TV special about menopause. Much for joining us. Adam with us all week, and Brian is back. So nice to have you back.
Thank you very much. Thought I'd get up this morning, come and see how you're doing.
Did you miss us?
Did, of course I did. Of course I did.
I don't believe it.
Although with the sunshine and the mild temperatures we had yesterday, that's pretty much what I was thinking about yesterday. Wasn't it lovely?
It was beautiful. Went for a nice walk, and it's like everything's melting, and the sun was shining. It was awesome.
Thank you. Now what we need, and I really hate to say this, now what we need is some strong winds to help dry up that moisture, but we're not going to get that. Okay, I'm not really a big fan of strong winds. Had enough of that. But that's what we need right now, because we've got a lot of moisture, and the temperature, well, we're just into the minus column at the moment, -1. So could be a little slippery, and we do have some fog patches out there this morning. So take care on the roads this morning. So temperature today, yesterday we got to 7 degrees. 7 degrees, way above seasonal. Not quite a record for this time of year. Records are around 13. But today we're going to climb to 3 degrees, so more melting today, more sunshine today. Tonight, though, we step backwards. We could get a couple of centimeters of snow tonight. But it'll be gone tomorrow because it's going to be mild again. And we'll talk about all of that coming up. Looking at traffic, 403 Waterdown Road. It's doing okay. That's just normal volume for this time of the morning, so doing fine there. Check some MTO traffic cameras as usual. Start at Grays Road, Stony Creek, Toronto bound away from us. Same here, top of the Skyway. Appleby line now, Toronto bound lanes coming towards us. So as you can see, no problems. But just be careful, because that temperature, with all the melting yesterday, the temperature has just fallen into the minus column, -1, so could be a little slippery. We will look at weather and traffic in detail in just a few minutes for you. Right now, the news.
Okay, thanks very much. A grim search is underway for a missing Hamilton woman. The disappearance of Shalini Singh has led police to the Glanbrook landfill, where investigators are now sifting through waste in hopes of finding her remains. Singh was last heard from December 4th. 6 days later, her family reported her missing after they couldn't get in touch with her or her boyfriend for several days. On December 11th, police located Singh's long-term common-law partner at a family member's home in Halton.
So at this time, we're not going to disclose his status in the case or his identity. In prolonged investigations like this, that status can change from time to time in both directions, and I'm not prepared to label him as a certain classification at this time. We are investigating the possibility that Shalini was killed in her apartment and removed from the building through the building's garbage disposal system.
Now, officials say they've spent weeks planning this search after combing through hundreds of hours of surveillance video from her apartment building and not seeing her leave the building. Anyone with information is asked to call Hamilton Police.
And Hamilton police are asking for witnesses to come forward after a shooting in Stony Creek. Shots were fired around 3:30 yesterday afternoon in a townhouse complex on Highway 8, not far from Green Road. Police say there were several people in the townhouse where the shooting happened, but there are no reported injuries.
A driver has survived a fall from the Gardiner Expressway in Toronto. It happened last night around 5:30. Toronto police say a car was going the wrong way on the Gardiner into a construction site. It ended up going through a large hole and flipping onto its roof on the road below. A man in his 30s has been arrested for impaired driving. Toronto police are asking anyone with dashcam video of that crash to contact them.
The leaders of Ontario's main parties are making their final pitches to voters today as Ontarians head to the polls tomorrow. Progressive Conservative leader Doug Ford is making several campaign stops across southwestern Ontario, including Oldcastle and London, while NDP leader Marit Stiles will be in Toronto, Niagara and Hamilton. Liberal leader Bonnie Crombie will make stops in Oakville, Mississauga and Hamilton, and Green leader Mike Schreiner will canvass in Kitchener. Polls will be open from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. tomorrow.
U.S. President Donald Trump's trade threats topped the second Liberal leadership debate last night in Montreal. All four candidates outlined their plans to stand up to his proposed tariffs.
We will never, ever be part of the United States in any way, shape, or form. We have to recognize that the Donald Trump of today is different than the Donald Trump of several years ago. Then his objective was to take more of our market. Now he wants to take our country. Let me finish by pointing out one other thing. Who's the worst person to stand up to Donald Trump? It's Pierre Poilievre. He worships the man. He uses his language. He's not the right person for our country at this crucial time.
I do think, though, it is a big mistake for Canadians to think that because we can't change Trump, we can't negotiate with him. Of course we can't change him, but we can outwit him. And the way to do that is by using our leverage, by recognizing that, yes, we depend on the U.S., but they depend on us, too.
Burlington MP Karina Gould promised a charm offensive and to keep supply management off the table in future talks. Former MP Frank Baylis criticized Trudeau and Canada's premiers for mishandling the situation, saying Trump is a bully and you don't give 1 inch to a bully. Now, Liberal Party members can begin casting advance votes today for their preferred candidate to lead their party and to replace Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. The winner will be announced March 9th. And a new poll is painting Mark Carney as the odds-on favorite to win this race, but he isn't likely to win it on the first ballot. The Main Street Research survey suggests 43% of Liberal supporters would vote for Carney on the first ballot, with 31% supporting Freeland. Karina Gould has the support of 16% of Liberals, while 3% prefer Montreal businessman Frank Baylis. 7% of Liberal Party members who can vote are undecided at this point. The Liberal leadership race uses a ranked ballot, and the polling heavily favors Carney on the second ballot.
Let's take a look at sports. The Toronto Maple Leafs back in action last night against their arch rivals, the Boston Bruins, and it didn't take long for this one to get spicy.
Bruins free, and out they come. It's ripped over the line. Pastrnak walks in, shoots, he scores! That took 29 seconds.
Mason Lohrei finds David Pastrnak with a stretch pass, and Pasta goes in on a breakaway and snipes her past Anthony Stolarz. So in 29 seconds, the Bruins have their first lead of the game. They add to that lead on the power play, and this is, well, it's just bad luck. The puck goes off the face of Jake McCabe and comes right back to Brad Marchand, who tucks it in. 2-0 Beantown. Jumped to midway through the second frame. The Bees on the power play again. This time, it's Morgan Geekie rifling home his 19th goal of the season. This is not looking good for Toronto, but the Buds are down 3-0, still in the second. The Leafs finally get on the board. Matthew Nye sends it back to the point where Morgan Riley just throws it at the net and goes off a Bruin defender and in. Let's go to the third. Buds on the power play, and Mitch Marner goes to work. He gets the puck at the point, dances around a few people, and snipes it over Swayman. Marner, the 17th goal of the season. Leafs weren't done there. Riley finds Nick Robertson streaking down the left side, and what a pass. Robertson with a beauty of a shot as well. This one knotted up at threes, but this was a back-and-forth game with plenty of chances at both ends, and midway through the third, the Leafs cough it up, and David Pastrnak makes them pay again, showing off great patience to put it past Stolarz. But with less than a minute left, Leafs net empty, Pontus Holmberg finishes off a nice pass from Nick Robertson, goes upstairs to send this one to overtime, and with time running down in the extra frame, Matthews finds Marner, sends him in all alone, and he absolutely undresses Swayman. Leafs come back from 3 down to win this one in overtime, 5-4. What a game. Morgan Riley had a goal and 3 helpers. Let's see how the other Canadian teams fared last night. Leon Draisaitl buried his 43rd goal of the season, but his Oilers still lost to Tampa 4-1. Flames in D.C., where Alex Ovechkin scored again to move 12 away from passing Gretzky's all-time goal-scoring record. The Flames won 3-1. Patrick Laine netted his 14th goal of the season as the Montreal Canadiens and Samuel Montembeault shut out the Carolina Hurricanes 4-0. All right, the Toronto Raptors were back in the hardcourt last night, hosting the second best team in the East, the Boston Celtics. And in case you were wondering, the Raptors are the 3rd worst team in the East. Jaylen Brown scored 24 points. Derek White had 22, and the Boston Celtics extended their winning streak to 6 games by beating the Toronto Raptors 111-101 last night. Peyton Pritchard scored 20 points, and Jason Tatum had 19 and 11 assists as the Celtics improved to 24-6 on the road. R.J. Barrett scored 22 points, and Scotty Barnes had 21. The Raptors lost for the 7th time in their past 9 games. Grady Dick also scored 12 points, and Emmanuel Quickly added 10. Although Luka Doncic speaks 4 languages, he struggled for the words to express just how strange it was to play against the Dallas Mavericks last night. Just 23 days after his world was upended by Dallas's shocking decision to trade him, Doncic was on the Los Angeles Lakers' home court to face those same Mavs. His feelings of betrayal and uncertainty are still fresh. Doncic's game was all over the place, just like his head. He posted his first triple-double in a Lakers uniform, however, but he also missed 11 of his 17 shots and was wild from three-point range. He made a dozen great passes and at least that many big defensive plays, yet he could only score 2 points in the fourth quarter of a tight game. But his new team did the rest. They still won 107-99. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Spring training is like Christmas. I know, right? The voice of an angel, they say.
Angel of darkness.
Angel of darkness. Blue Jays had their shiny new present on the mound yesterday. 40-year-old Max Scherzer making his spring training debut for the Bluebirds. He would go 2 innings, giving up 1 run on 1 hit and struck out 4, as the Blue Jays would stay undefeated in the spring with a 3-2 win over the Cardinals. Jays will be taking on the Phillies this afternoon, with Jose Barrios getting the start.
Okay, let's get into this 26th morning of February here. We're counting down the last few days of February. 6:11 is the time. Traffic this morning, nothing to see. It looks good right now. No collisions on the books. 403 Waterdown Road, doing fine. Here's the QEW Glendale and St. Catharines. We'll go to our MTO traffic cameras. Grays Road, Stony Creek to Fairview, already slowing down a little bit. Here's the Ford plant, then we'll flip ahead to Etobicoke Creek, all doing fine. So no problems on the QEW around the Horseshoe at the moment. Here's our temperature has just fallen by a couple of degrees. We were -1. We're now -3 with a wind chill of -6. Thankfully, the winds are fairly light. The relative humidity right now is up there at 100%, so there are some fog patches around. Take care. So we do have a mainly clear sky at the moment. So for school today, temperature is going to climb to +3 from where we are at -3 right now. So another mild day. We'll have some sunshine again. So a whole lot of melting going on today. We're not going to see too much cloud cover until later on. Then the cloud cover will push in as that low goes by, and then we are going to get possibly a couple of centimeters of snow overnight. But tomorrow it's all going to melt because the temperature goes right back up again. So today +3, that'll be the high. Shy of what we got to yesterday, because yesterday we got to 7. So what a day yesterday. But we'll have some sun. Temperatures 2 and 3 degrees. Tonight we just dip a little bit, +1 for Niagara, 0 for the rest of the Horseshoe. Yes, we do hit the minus column for Kitchener and Guelph, but still there's a chance of a couple of centimeters overnight tonight. But it'll melt tomorrow because temperatures tomorrow 3, 4, and 5 degrees. There could be some mixing precipitation. Not a lot of sunshine for the day tomorrow, so we could get there'll be some snow in the morning, and then that's going to come to an end, and then we could get some flurries, some rain shower activity as that temperature climbs quite nicely into the plus side. So out the door, 26th of February, we're looking at -3 right now. It is mainly clear, and we do have light winds at the moment. And we'll look long range coming up. And Adam.
Okay, thanks very much. Just after the break, we're going to say good morning to Emily Bukovic. She's got a preview of what's to come in Chit Chat. Also, our dollar has dropped to a 2-week low over growing concerns of a trade war with the United States. Well, look who's back from assignment. Good morning, Emily.
Hi, good morning. It's good to be back. Coming up, Oprah is working on a new special about menopause. And there's still a lot of love between the NFL and Taylor Swift. And later on this morning, a new Traitors-style competition reality show is coming to Netflix, which I think looks really good.
Okay, this one, I saw a little tease of it, and I'm actually It's a reality show I'm very interested in.
Yeah, and I'm not normally into reality
I'm
shows.
not.
I love reality shows.
Yeah, I'm not into them at all, but this one is
I
like,
can't get enough.
okay, I can see this.
I don't know if this is up Adam's alley.
All right, well, I
There's
gotta get through Love Island UK first before I can get anything else. I'm kind of committed right now.
Blind and all these other ones. Amazing.
I got a long list of trash TV to watch.
Okay, thanks very much, Emily. We'll chat on the couch. Well, the Canadian dollar, this is not good news, dropped yesterday to an almost 2-week low. It's because of falling oil prices and, of course, the growing concerns about a trade war with the United States. So the dollar this morning is down in overseas trading another 8 basis points to 69.74 cents U.S. Gold is up almost $9 an ounce. Crude oil dropped nearly $2 yesterday. It's up a little bit this morning, just under 69 cents a barrel. Midday trading in Europe today. Markets are up in London, Frankfurt, and Paris.
Over in Asia, markets were down in Tokyo, but up in Hong Kong and Shanghai. Good performances from the financial, industrial, and utility sectors combined to lift Bay Street to a positive close yesterday. TSX gained over 50 points. The Dow added 160, but the tech-heavy NASDAQ dropped 260 points. NASDAQ futures are up in pre-market trading, though, this morning.
Well, BMO and Scotiabank kicked off Canadian earnings season with pretty strong results. Scotiabank reported a $993 million profit in its latest quarter, but that's down from $2.2 billion a year ago. BMO earned $2.14 billion in its first quarter, up sharply from $1.29 billion in the same quarter in 2024. Now, National Bank is set to report its results today, and Royal Bank, TD, and CIBC will report their earnings tomorrow.
Provinces like Ontario and Quebec are expected to take the biggest hits if U.S. President Donald Trump follows through on his tariff threats. That's according to a new report from Desjardins Economics. Alberta and Saskatchewan should be able to avoid the worst of the damage if Canada can secure carve-outs for energy exports. It suggests provinces and territories could collectively put aside up to $100 billion in their upcoming budgets to guard against possible tariffs. Nova Scotia included a $200 million emergency fund in its budget unveiled last week, and Alberta is next up with its provincial budget due tomorrow.
A U.S. industry leader warns Donald Trump's plan to impose a 25% tariff on all imported aluminum could cost, get this, 100,000 American jobs. The CEO of Alcoa, which is one of the largest U.S. aluminum makers, says the tariff would eliminate about 20,000 direct jobs in the U.S. aluminum industry and another 80,000 indirect jobs in that country. The new tariff rate is a 15% increase from prior levels. It does not allow for any exceptions or exemptions, and it's set to go into effect next month. The aluminum tariff is part of Trump's aggressive plan to beef up manufacturing in the States.
Elon Musk is not as rich as he was last year. He lost $52 billion U.S. in net worth since the start of this year. And one of the reasons Tesla sales are down more than 20% over the past month. The electric automaker's market value has fallen below $1 trillion for the first time since November of last year. The Bloomberg Billionaires Index reports despite his net worth loss, Musk remains the richest person in the world. He's worth about $380 billion. That's $144 billion more than Meta and Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg.
Okay, taking a quick break right now. Brian is going to be back with your traffic and your 7-day forecast, because now that 7-day includes the weekend.
All right, 6:23. Let's check what's going on as far as traffic is concerned on this 26th morning of February, ticking them off, going to the end of February. Here's the QEW at Martindale. Nothing to see. Slick roads. Temperature is into the minus column now, so be really careful with the freeze up from yesterday. QEW Skyway Bridge, top, looks good. Toronto bound lane setting away from us. Just the brake lights coming on with normal volume. Appleby line, no problems. Sheraton looks good through Mississauga. Here's the 403 east of Mississauga Road. Nothing to see right there. All right, temperature, as I mentioned, has just fallen. We are now -3, so the melting on the little guy here is going to stop for a little bit, but we'll say bye-bye today because the temperature is going to climb to 3 degrees It's been nice knowing you, kiddo. -3 is our temperature right now with a wind chill of -6. -2 Grimsby, -1 Mississauga, +1 for Toronto. So seasonal temperatures now are +1 and -7. So they're bumping up a little bit as we get closer to spring. Those are our sun times and records for today. And for school today, we should be -1 by the first bell at 9. A mix of sun and clouds, and then a bit of cloud cover starts to roll in later on today, but we'll hit +3. So on the plus side again for today. With that sunshine. Tonight, temperature falls to 0, but we could get some snow overnight. We could get a couple of centimeters into tomorrow morning, but tomorrow the temperature climbs to 4 degrees and we could get some mixing with that precipitation. -1 and cloudy Friday. March arrives on Saturday, -2. Temperature dips again to -4 as we get into Sunday. Monday 0, but all the way to 6, so the temperature roller coasters as we get into March. That's your forecast. Annette, Adam.
Okay, yesterday was such a great day for soup and for a good cause as well. Hamilton had its Soup Fest yesterday. It was the 23rd year for it.
This is one of my favorite events. The event raised over $66,000 for the Living Rock Youth Center. 13 restaurants competed for bragging rights.
So Mai Tai ended up the big winner, awarded Best Soup by the Soup Fest tasting panel for their cow soy. It's a northern-style curry noodle soup.
Sounds delicious. The best soup voted by attendees was awarded to Mai Tai.
Most creative soup went to the Thirsty Cactus for their jalapeno popper.
Best display went to Stuffed, handcrafted pierogies for their loaded pierogi soup. That sounds amazing.
And the tastiest Heart Smart soup went to Bistro Services MKR. They're from McMaster Hospitality, and they had an Egyptian red lentil. What's your favorite soup?
Well, I'm kind of wanting that pierogi soup now, but I like a good squash, like a butternut squash with a little bit of heat to it.
Okay. I like just a good homemade chicken noodle.
Chicken noodle.
Yeah.
That's kind of...
Yeah, with vegetables.
Yeah. That's always a nice fallback.
Yeah. It's an easy one.
All right. Stay with us. More to come after the break. More soup talk for sure.